Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Raypower FM. My name is Amecha Nakweteve. Joins me today on the program. Thank you so much for joining us, Teve.
Yeah, Amecha, good morning to you. Good morning, listeners and our viewers on YouTube at Raypower, Abuja.
And so, Dangote, world's richest black man, was in Lagos yesterday. Yes. The Bodleian. When we say Lagos, say Bodleian. You know what we mean. Do you know what Bodleian means? Bodleian is in Ikoyi. There's one Nigerian that went to a Bodleian, a corner of the street where you have the signpost and say, I'm here. Nothing they happen. You know who I'm referring to.
Your friend, you know that.
Can you go there now and say I'm in Bodleian? The security apparatchik who allow him to smell Bodleian, not to talk of see it. Because I just imagine those, when I was watching the Dangote's video of Dangote addressing journalists after the meeting with the president, I was just wondering how are the neighbors of the president coping in his private home in Bodleian, in Ikoyi. How are they coping? I just imagine myself been a next door neighbor and I'm having visitors. I was wondering the checks my visitors will go through. Perhaps I have to come out to identify them and bring them in and all that. So, but these are the privileges that also come with inconvenience if you stay close to power. There's a saying in my place. That saying is attributable to a dog. He says there are two reasons why he's going after a local dog, the one we call Bingo. There are two reasons why he's trailing a man with bulging stomach. It's either he throws up, which is food for it, or he defecates, which is also food for So, you know, the local dog can eat anything. So those living near the president or the power sources, even if you're living close to a power line, there's a distance you give to high tension wire, not less than 60 meters. And all that, but you maybe one of the first to be connected. So those in Bodleian, they are seeing the privilege and the hardship.
Indeed. Perhaps they would have been almost used to it because the president, right now the security checks would have been different from what used to be, but he's been a leader for a very long time. So I'm sure they most probably would have been used to it. In some places, they will buy off the entire street. I know somewhere in Benin City where I went to, from the gate to the main building where we met the man. If you are not driving, if you are trekking, it's almost kilometers. It's a whole stretch of, you know. So it's like that. Even down the hill here, if you go, neighbors here, you see sometimes the government lodges are even on some of these streets. When some of them are around, I just imagine what will happen this weekend when the APC National Convention, the PDP, the two governors will not be there, you know. But when the APC has its National Convention, how some of the streets in Sokora, some of the people will be, you know, blocked, you know, and all of that. So it's part of it. I'm sure they most probably would have been used to it. But most importantly, Dangote, when he went there yesterday,
to the main issue,
yes, what he told the president, almost as if he listened to us yesterday, about what the countries are doing at this material point in time, because there is so much uncertainty. We don't know which one is the alternative facts now. When you say somebody is talking to you and the person comes out and say, no, I'm not talking to you. You know, and within this short space of time, you see how oil prices have reacted. Nobody knows when and how this is going to end. So Dangote was with the president yesterday, and he was saying, look, comparing the situation the world is facing now with COVID, you know, and how countries need to prepare and how other countries are preparing, you know, cutting down a number of days at work and other measures that they are putting in place, you know, to support their citizens, as it were. And in Nigeria, actually, we are worried, we are concerned. We raised the issue here yesterday I hope that maybe now that somebody at that level has spoken with the president, maybe he will get his people, even he himself will start thinking and not start lamenting, because that's the problem. When you have leadership that is lamenting or making such predictions the way he did when the governors came to him, then it's something to worry about. The labor, NACA, and some of them,
as employers consultative,
association or the assembly, also raised the issue yesterday about concerns about what the Nigerian government is doing and not doing. Because just like COVID, those who prepared for it, whether you believe it was there or not, the shutdown across the world affected you in one way or the other. So whether you were prepared for it or not, it affected you. And most countries, most economies have not recovered from it up to today, and all of that. So we need to put up our thinking caps and see what we can do. And he said something. You also read some of the reports right from yesterday. And today, he was also talking about reserves, how most African countries don't have reserves. And it's a practical case of Nigeria. I remember those days when there is any of these international issues affecting oil prices, and all of that. The NNPC then will come and, we have no panic buying. We have quantity that was out 1 month, 1 full month. They will always
2 months, 3 months.
Yeah. No, at some point they stayed with 30 days, 1 month, and all of that for a very long time, But can we say that today? Can NNPC come out and say that today? Dangote, from reports that we've been reading since yesterday, has almost doubled or tripled his exports to other African countries since this crisis started. And I was asking
for him,
and I was asking myself, this man is selling this thing now. If it gets so bad that we don't have it, maybe
highest bidder. The principle of determination of price in economies will set in.
And all of that. Is NNPC even buying from him to store as reserve, as it were? Because before now, when we talk of energy security, there's supposed to be a reserve of crude, which is what some other countries are even doing.
Every other country is doing.
The prices they bought, even the ones US is releasing, EU block and all of that. The ones they bought at a lower rate are the ones that are releasing now.
And that's why it has increased by mere 60 cents, not up to $1 US for a gallon, not a liter.
But here, we're not even producing up to capacity, and then they said we signed contracts that are how many years old, we are accrued for $1 or $1 for contract, and all of that. They bought everything already, and you ask yourself, because Trump, so far as I'm concerned, like I said, the very first day this thing started, that he took a gamble, and it has grown out of his control. He's somebody who felt he was in control of so many things, but I'm sure you saw the AI product video where the Korean president, the Russian leader, the UK Prime Minister, the French president, all of that were just, laughing at him, when he stood by the road and was looking for people who will help him. He's shopping for people who nobody wants.
And help is not coming.
Help is not coming, because you started a war, you did not consult anybody, you don't take anybody into confidence, but you started there and want everybody to join,
and they told you OIO. There's something that the Dangote raised yesterday, and is about the impact on the ordinary. When I say ordinary citizens, I don't mean many of our listeners, you and I mean those vulnerable, those wretched of the earth,
poorest of
the poor, that are dependent on what they earn per day, daily earners, those laborers that they come out for work, they don't see any job, they go back hungry. And these are people that have higher propensity to steal. Because if he didn't find a job, he has to eat something.
And some of them have families.
Self-preservation is number one. So he has to fend for his family with any means necessary. That's why it's the responsibility of every government, every state, to make sure that their people don't get into the stage of life where you are compelled to steal, to live That's why poverty eradication or pulling people out of poverty is key.
Yes,
but for countries such as Nigeria, it's not an issue. It doesn't worry them. If the fate of the vulnerable, poorest of the poor, is worrying them, we should have rolled out measures to cushion the impact of what is happening. It's telling people, Dangote talked about it, that if they can't go to work because of high transport, they will have nothing to eat. Sure. So we have to have a government that is responsible and responsive. Responsible in the sense that they know that there are weak citizens that need protection. Responsive in the sense that they respond to immediacies, urgent situations like this. Now, it's not just the ordinary poorest of the poor that has found itself in this predicament. I dare say even the Nigerian government is living from hand to mouth. Sure. The Nigerian government is like that daily laborer that lives from hand to mouth, no service, borrowing heavily. That got a reference to it. Yes. Borrowing to pay service loans, borrowing to pay salary. The Nigerian economy is worse off than that daily paid laborer. Because if there's any little shock, it hits the Nigerian economy so hard. And that's why I remember Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala when she insisted on excess crude oil accounts. That we should save some for the rainy day. You know, it's only an irresponsible father that will spend all, when he makes money, he goes to a beer parlor, others ECU, others all the laggers, and enjoy himself. He doesn't think about, let me hold on till tomorrow. So that is what we have found ourselves. The governors are taxed to spend, just bring the money and spend. They ganged up against Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. They did everything. They called her names just to stop that spend. They say, why save when you can spend it now? A wise man saves for the future, but we don't have wise people in government. They want to spend it now because they want to steal from it. If you sell it, they will not have that opportunity to steal from the till. That's why they want to spend it. All that we have been getting, all that have been accruing to state governments because of the removal of free subsidy, how many of them do save? Many of them still go are borrowing. And it tells you about the level of government we have. And I think, except I'm wrong, it's only your state government that have announced 10,000 naira wage award to workers in his employ. Has any other state done it?
With this fuel price?
Yes, 10,000 per month, they say, for initial period of 3 months. We want to hear from governments at all levels. What you're doing should be responsible and responsive to the needs of the vulnerable. Some of us can manage. You can manage. You find a way around it. Those in government will find ways around it. But what of those people that have nowhere to go?
Even the workers, some of them will find a way around it. Like I keep saying, when you do that, we commend the Oyo State government, but the civil servants are not the only citizens in Oyo State.
Yes, so they should expand it.
Other ways. I know Oyo State government, you know, because of the socialist orientation of the search, Bafemi Awolowo, for a very long time, it was one of the cheapest state, less expensive state to live in. I was shocked. When I went there and we ate amala and shekiri and everything, and the bill they gave us, all of us were looking at.
Is it for one person?
Are you sure?
For all of us, it happened to me also. You know, is it this bill? We enjoy the sumptuous amala. Everything. Not just amala. And there's what you call it when you put it together. You come that abula in abula form. After we enjoyed ourselves, I asked for the bill. I asked them, is it for one person or for all of us? They say for all of us.
You know, exactly. So it's one of the cheapest, you know, cities. So we hope that they will sustain that. And other states will also, just like you mentioned the governors. I know all of them, the 31 or 30 of them are busy interested in APC convention.
That's their headache.
This weekend. But with the visit of Dangote yesterday, I hope that the president today will call his economic team, those people who are not thinking. He will call them if he's in Lagos or he's coming back to Abuja. They should sit in that room and think of what they are going to do before this thing, you know, because they are just, we remove subsidy now, so market forces, everything will, you know, all
fall in line.
Don't forget, you even have election on your hands. All of these things,
hunger will be
an issue on the ballot.
Yes,
it will be an issue on the ballot. And then the state governors, like you mentioned, is not just for the president, and that's why I said the Nigerian government or the Nigerian Federation. because it's not just federal government, states, and all of that. The state government, what are they in your own state, or your state has done what they have done? What are you doing? What are you thinking about?
Do something.
You need to. It's so bad. You go today in the morning, you buy it at 300 and something. In the evening, you go, it's a different price, and all of that. So
that's pure capitalism.
People
that's capitalism.
And he mentioned
an unbridled capitalism is a devil. It's the devil unto the people. And they must find even that the real capitalist nation like US have ways that they cap these prices. They know that there is a need to make sure it doesn't go beyond this point, because it will impact on businesses, it will impact on livelihoods. We that borrowed capitalism from them are implementing it upside down.
And Dangote wants that. Yes, he said even the barber, even the baker that is depending on buying fuel or diesel to run their factory or run their shops and all of that. By the time the cost of production gets high, which is what NACA and Labour are saying, people will lose jobs. Companies, by the time the running cost is high, companies will be forced to, sack people to
they can meet their costs. They sack people.
So they need to look at the bigger picture. And imagine that. Even if it's 10% of the workforce today in the country, private sector, even government, you don't sack. Even if it's 10%, 5%, just imagine what the impact of that will be across the country. So something needs to be done. They need to sit up. They need to think on what needs, to be done immediately.
What's the name of that song? I'll gotta do something. There's this song. Omaomi, how does it sing it? How does it sing it? Maybe we'll look for it and play for our leaders. You have to do something. They need. Ariyo, the song I'm referring to.
I'm trying to remember.
Why Awolowo, the name is still resounding up till tomorrow, is that he pursued a welfarist policy. To the great Awolowo, governance is about the people. Every investment is on the people. If I'm in government, I go into politics, that's the template I'll use. I don't care about there's a difference between the economy and the people. The problem is that successive governments in Nigeria are focusing on the economy. They are looking at GDP is completely misleading. They are looking at all those rates and indices that are misleading, imposed on us by Bretton Woods institution. By the time you focus on the people and leave the economy for 2 years, you see laughter on the face of Nigeria. There was a time Nigerians were the happiest people on earth. It was measured. And it was times about 15, 20 years ago, we were the happiest people on earth. Today, if you do another measurement, we'll be the most aggrieved, most traumatized, most terrorized, most saddest. If you hit it on that's what you see. And that's because governments have been focusing on the economy. So if we have governments that focus on the people and the energy prices increase, they convene a situation room where they will not lift you. They'll be monitoring. How is it impacting on this? How do we respond? How will it impact on this? How do we prevent it?
And I was just like a number of them today also had a thriving business. Nigerian Tribune, I will call the name, is one of the oldest newspapers in the country. So you can't say he was not a capitalist as a person. He had a business that was running, and he's still running to the family
for his private business.
But he knew that there is a need to differentiate when it comes to the people, his private life, and capitalism.
If you're in government, it's public service.
Exactly.
They say government has no business. I said no, government has a big business. It's the welfare of the people, it's your business. And if you fail on that, you have failed. Let's hear from you while I still go and search for the title of that song. Ariyo and Majeka here.
Thank you, Amechi. Good morning and welcome to the mail segment. I am Olamide Ariyo.
And I am Aicheda Majakodomi. We begin with issues of insecurity, and Olarinde Ajamu from Kwara State writes, I am writing as a concerned resident of Idofin Odoashe in Okero local government area of Kwara State to urgently bring national attention to the deteriorating security situation in our community. While we commend the government and the Nigerian Army for recent military deployment in part of Kwara South, these operations have resulted in a dangerous spillover. Fleeing terrorists have moved into our local forest, turning Idofin Oduashe into a primary target. Due to our location at an unpoliced border where 4 local government areas meet, Okeero, Ifelodun, Ekiti, and Kogi State. Terrorists are now operating less than 1 kilometer from our homes. The violence has been devastating. 3 days ago, a young man named Temidayo Are was murdered. Currently, 4 others, Sunday Bello, Abiodun Odofin, Ezekiel Adewumi, and a local laborer remain in captivity, being held and tortured in the forest by the abductors. We urgently request that the Nigerian Army extend clearance operations into the Dauphin, Ahun, and Okedaba forest axis. Additionally, we need immediate joint border patrols in the Idofin Eruku Egbe corridor to prevent further loss of lives. Please help us secure Kwara South before our communities are completely lost.
Anugochukwu Godwin from Lagos State says it's alarming the rate at which public officers breach the code of ethics of their offices. A former accountant general has been jailed on all 9 counts for 8 years each. The judge should not have allowed it to run concurrently so that he will serve 72 years. He committed this distinct act while serving as Director of Finance and Accounting in the Defense Ministry. This is why monies appropriated to fight insecurity evaporate into thin air and the soldiers kept dying in numbers. Both the politicians, technocrats have all soiled their hands. Why do we even trust? The previous accountant general is facing a charge of 80 billion naira. The one before him that died also was alleged to have embezzled billions of naira. There is something wrong with our system. We should put checks in place to prevent corruption. People should have the fear of God, and remember we will all answer to our Creator. Everyone wants to grab his own, and it's not healthy for the nation.
And we are still talking corruption charges. Emmanuel Nkama from Lagos State says, "Good morning to you, dear political platform crew. Please, I crave your indulgence to observe that the continued detention of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai without arraigning him in court and the sealing of former AGF's Malami's property by EFCC is all illegal and like operating outside the rules of law. This is because it appears that we are in a Hobbesian state of nature where life is brutish, harsh, and short. Sadly enough, this administration is highly intolerable of opposition. This is equally because if Malami and El-Rufai and El-Rufai were to continue to remain in APC up to now without any plan to contest for any political office, no corruption charges would have been brought against them. But if any, they would have been told to go and sin no more. Here is calling on the federal government to always operate within ambit of the law and be transparent, accountable to all its actions. This injustice, selective judgment, and corruption is a major reason why ordinary Nigerians are going through untold hardship. Let there be rules of law, good governance, and dividends of democracy. Nigeria deserves better."
And reacting to the Iranian war effect on Nigeria's economy, Oguerian Yawo from Abuja says, in my view, the effect would have been less severe if the Fiscal Responsibility Commission Act of 2007 had been properly implemented. The operating surplus meant to be saved in the Consolidated Revenue Fund, CRF, for challenging times is instead being shared among the 3 tiers of government, leaving the reserve depleted. It is also worth noting that the late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua had commendable plans for Nigeria, but subsequent leadership driven by self-interest has contributed to the difficult situation we face today. May God help Nigeria.
And Emeka Mba from Abuja says, in your analysis yesterday, Dr. Amechi recounted the various reforms in the power sector that include unbundling into generation, transmission, and distribution, name changing from ECN to NEPA to PHCN, categorization into band A, B, C over the years, which is decades, and we are still stuck with 4.5 megawatts of electricity. And he asked exasperatedly in our local parlance, "No be juju be that?" No, Dr. Amechi, no be juju be that. Na indiscipline, corruption, and incompetence. Adequate and constant electricity is not rocket science like successive governments are presenting at all. Professor Bath Naji and his Geometric Power Limited have proved that with Abia Electricity. So if we are serious, we learn from him. On Buhari and Idi Agbon style of war against indiscipline and corruption is declared and established, our oil and power sectors will continue to wallow in poverty and darkness.
And lastly, on the mail segments, Victor Ebe from Bayelsa says, sometimes I get so sick and tired of talking about Nigeria. It just makes me feel I am talking to a wall. I doubt if any member of our government knows what is our foreign policy or a roadmap for Nigeria's growth. Since after former head of state, Sani Abacha, with his Vision 2020 of former President Yar'Adua and his 7-point agenda, is talking dirty December. I laugh when people ask for the sack of the Minister of Power. How can anybody explain retaining a minister, but yet cutting off yourself from the national grid? Is it because of the high cost of power or the poor power supply? Either way, it shows that the president himself has given up on the Ministry of Power. If we must move forward, we must invest in education, research institutes, health and agriculture, and most importantly, orientate the Nigerian people on patriotism and social sense.
And that is all we can take this morning on the mail segment. Keep on sending in your mail to us at politicalplatform@dagroup.com.
Thank you so much for the mails. Well, the song we are looking for is a song by Omaumi Botambele, where she was saying, Chairman, do something. Chairman, do something. No, you know, be chairman for mouth. So, unfortunately, we can't share it here because we are streaming on YouTube. They'll take that. They'll give us a strike if we share a copyrighted material. But immediately after the program, on the offline, those that are listening to us via the radio will get to play the song. The manager of the station has already made it available. So we need someone to remind them, those in power. Oga President, Oga Governor, Oga
President, do something.
Local government chairman, do something. No, your people, they suffer where they suffer. No be small thing.
Indeed, we can't say it any better than what we have said long ago. People like Fela, you remember, I used to, these are things, that's why most of the time when you listen to him, you just...
It's a message.
It's a message. It's
a everlasting message. There. Both to those in government, outside government, to everybody, has a message for everybody.
You know. So leadership, like we said, is what it is, and we must be proactive at every material point in time. If we are not, the fire brigade approach, some will even tell you maybe they are waiting, so that we let it become a chaotic situation, so that they will make money out of it. You know, they will throw everything at it, throw everything.
Fire brigade, you know, short circuit all the processes, grab the loot and walk away.
And walk away. If you are not planning, then definitely that's what you are planning for.
Anyway, as we end, I remember a few weeks ago when there was a debate over who's greater, Fela or Wizkid. And I said, the person that has a message is the one that is greatest for me. And that's where I'll leave it. It goes beyond music. It's also a message. Thank you so much for joining us today as we say goodbye to those on our YouTube handle who enjoy the Oga Do Something song on our terrestrial transmission. Have a good time. My name is Amiche Napwe.